Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on the past few months and I've not been mentally well enough to put my 2 cents in. My 2 cents primarily consisting of me just yelling at people and telling them to shut up. So that's going to be this entire video. We're going to catch up on all the stuff I missed out on whilst I tell various people to shut up. But before we get into that, remember to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and a more serious message before we get into me telling people to shut up. I want to tell all these people to shut up, to be honest. There is a big issue going on in the UK right now. People are rioting all up and down the country. It's racially motivated and people are just doing disgusting acts, including burning hotels or trying to set hotels on fire because they house asylum seekers. If you're one of my UK followers right now, just be safe. Just look after yourselves. Look after your neighbours. I don't think there's much more that I can really say on that. Also, for all the people that want to complain about immigrants stealing their jobs, it's going to be hard to get a job once you have a criminal record. So just think, before you go outside smashing things up. Now, let's get on to whatever this video is. Okay, firstly, starting off with imallexx, the little weasel. Should be laughing because it's serious. It's serious. There was a Google Doc by his ex-girlfriend called Alice detailing mental abuse, racism, and physical abuse. He got physical with her a few times, including kicking her and like pulling her back by the hoodie and like manhandling her and all sorts of fun stuff. It was a very long Google Doc. I read all of it, if you can believe such a thing. This is less serious. There was also these videos of him just being like the most arrogant person. And it's like, really? Imagine being imallexx and then being arrogant about that fact. It's just embarrassing. Like, imagine calling yourself a famous YouTuber. Surely that's an oxymoron. I couldn't get over that stuff. All 5'9" of him really speaking with his chest. The racism as well. He was calling his white girlfriend the N-word when he got really angry. And he's someone who has put on a very progressive act, has championed LGBT stuff. Champion's a strong term. He capitalized upon it to sell LGBT style merch. Did he do that or did he champion it? I'll leave it up to you to decide. But he's very much one of those ones, you know, when someone else messes up, he's the first person to be in there and to be really savage, not have a lot of nuance, because he just wasn't that smart. So to see him using slurs in the year 2024 of our Lord, real head scratching stuff that. But just shows his arrogance, because he obviously never thought that it would get out, right? Now the Google Doc gets released. Lots of people do videos on it. And then come out all of these PR statements from the people who have worked with Alex, and they all kind of sound vaguely similar. They all allude to how they'd noticed a thing here or there and they'd heard XYZ about him, so they'd actually stopped working with him at least a year ago, but they didn't know the extent of what was going on. And I just find that funny, because not to come across as a bitch, no one I've ever met who's known imallexx has ever had a nice thing to say. Nice things to say about other people, sure. Never a nice thing to say about him. Wrap this through your skull. Should I say this? I'm going to say this. I've heard nicer things about Logan Paul than I have imallexx. And yet, all these people, so many people worked with him when it was profitable. And they all come out with the same cookie cutter statement. Like, no, my issue was that, one of the issues I had with that was no one was just being real. Obviously there is a victim of abuse, so you do have to handle it quite sensitively, but then the way that they all sounded a bit the same, no one was being real, no one was being like, what a dick. Now this happened a good 2 months ago. I remember I edited Evangelina's video on it, and he's still not come back. There's not been a peep from him, and I have a theory, I have a prediction. There is a way in which he could come back from this if he pivots into right-wing posting and grifting. Now, hear me out. I'll be sold LGBT style merchandise. Well, exactly. He could reframe that to his new neo-Nazi audience as, I was just using, can I say this stuff? I was just using this movement in order to sell merchandise. So really, I had the last laugh. And you know, if there's a group of people who are going to be okay with abusing a woman, just makes sense, because You know, if he's that much of an attention seeker, I don't think he'll be able to keep away. And he's too far gone for him to slowly slink back or wait 6 months and then slowly come back, because he's lost all of his work colleagues and all of his YouTuber. Are they friends? I don't know. I say that with my chest. It's like, I'm sure no one's got nice things to say about me. They're all just jealous I'm better looking than all of them. I'm joking. There's at least 2 people who'd say I'm the devil, but they're the devil too, so I don't give a shit. Also, he was already using slurs. I'm not trying to be facetious, but it is a way that he could come back. He can't come back and post normally as if nothing ever happened, and he's not going to do an apology at this point. The sheer amount of text messages that were shown in this Google Doc saying how he wanted to kill his girlfriend, that's another thing. Actually, I remember the amount of times he would not say you're stupid, but he'd say you stupid woman, you dumb woman. It was always you bloody woman. So massive misogynist too. Who'd have thought that the woman abuser is a misogynist as well? But he could easily reframe all of that if he wanted to grift to a right-wing audience, because they're not going to give a shit, are they? Let's go very briefly onto iNabber, onto what I am calling the Google Doc wars, because this was a bit ridiculous. Held my tongue, man. iNabber went a little bit OTT, defending his prior work relationship with Alex, saying how it was a toxic relationship, which, you know, we believe, like, we did all see it when you came up with the idea of the E-boys, and then he took it and ran with it and went to those other boys and left you out, and it was like so high school. Felt sorry for iNabber. So, you know, don't worry, we can believe that it was a toxic friendship, whatever the hell it was. But then iNabber's ex made a Google Doc talking about her and Frasier's relationship, and then Frasier made a Google Doc. He had to come back with a Google Doc against it. I understand that, because it was all exploding on Twitter and Reddit, and then when she made a Google Doc with all these claims about how he was mentally abusive to her, people immediately believed it. But then his Google Doc, with all the context and whatnot, it refuted quite a bit of it. But then she made another Google Doc.
You're joking. Not another one?
It was literally the Google Doc wars, and it was kind of like, I understand why Frasier had to, but it felt a bit like it diluted the severity of what had occurred with Alice and took away attention from it. And I think he'd probably agree, because I think he said as much, that this had taken away from Alice, who's, you know, a victim of abuse. But you best believe I was there rolling my eyes, being like, good God, I'm so old. I'm so above all of this. Like, I'm above this drama. What's going on? This is just ridiculous. Whilst clicking the links, whilst reading all of it. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. I will say, though, nobody needed to know about their sex life. Could have gone the rest, as if my year weren't bad enough. Then we move on to Dr. Disrespect. Very briefly, because I don't really know. I knew him from far away, because my mate, who should be editing this video, loved Dr. Disrespect. And he'd be like, maybe I should do Twitch, but I'll put on like a mustache and a wig, and I'll be like Dr. Disrespect. And I was like, whatever. Who cares? That's how I talk to my friends. What? I don't care. You're not talking about me. Change the subject. So I only vaguely know about this, but Dr. Disrespect had previously cheated on his wife, and he was messaging a minor on Twitch's chat system. And so he was cheating on his wife again with like sexual messages to a minor. Yikes. Next, we have Boogie2988, who fakes having cancer. You can't make it up. If you made it up, if this was a Colleen Hoover book, I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, bullshit. All of these people are not like these big of cretins on this one website. But here we are. He faked having cancer. Of course he did. Did you not all see the documentary that was made on him last year when I was like living in a different place, moving place to place? And I did a video on it, making fun of this documentary, because Boogie was playing the victim. He had his ridiculously young girlfriend, they're still together, with him, and he was being like, just so you know, I've got all of this wrong with me. It was like the A to Z of diseases and maladies, and he was doing it on purpose to upset her, because she started crying, and he was being like, I got this, so I'm probably not gonna live long. So she started crying, and also it's manipulation tactic in it. Of course, the guy that did that, the guy who has thrown the longest ever party, a massive pity party for himself for several years, of course he faked having cancer. And I've been saying for years on this channel that he's an idiot and no one believed me. I'm sure a few of you did, but still, vindicated. He went on a live stream with Keemstar and Destiny. Someone said Keemstar threw Destiny at Boogie like he was a Pokeball. I could have 100% knowledge and 100% speech skill in a given subject, and I still wouldn't debate Destiny because he's very adept. He's the expert at just running people round in circles, so he was the best person for this job. The stream itself, I watched a bit of it, and it starts off like so funny. Like Keemstar starts the call with Boogie, and Boogie, you can see that he's just wearing the like, I can't believe that this is like such a bad actor, which is why he's on YouTube. We're all on YouTube because we can't do the other stuff. And he tries to put up the, oh, poor me. And then he tried to say that the doctor told him that he had this thing. And then he went home and Googled it and it was cancer. And it's like, Boogie, I could have a headache right now. And if I Google it, it's going to say cancer. You can't then, a doctor is going, as Destiny pointed out, a doctor is going to tell you to your face that you've got cancer. And he was getting these treatments done. He was fundraising from his fans. It's just ridiculous. He was fundraising from his fans to pay for his expensive treatments because he has no money, because he spunks all his money on God knows what. We saw that in the documentary too. And the treatments he was getting were blood tests once a month. Okay? But of course, this is a new low. A lower low than trying to fence it the Holocaust, which he did several years ago, I remember. It's a new low for Boogie, and what could I say? I don't think it's the lowest low we've seen from him yet. He could still surprise us. There's still a few more months left of the year, so I can't wait for that. Like, it's so ridiculous. Of course he did. And what's funny, my depression, the things that I went through earlier this year, you'd think that the news of someone faking that they had cancer would anger me. Like, he doesn't anger me. I just think he's pathetic. Like, he's not worth getting angry or mad at. He's barely even worth people's laughter because he would take that and run with it and be like, at least I'm still entertaining people. No, you're not worth that either. He's just pathetic. He's just pathetic. I don't see the point in even getting angry at him. Of course he's going to be like that. And people are wise to him, but then for whatever reason, for years, people have been giving him the benefit of the doubt because, yeah, he is mentally ill. He has to be doing this stuff, but it doesn't mean that he's free from the repercussions of lying so much. Don't even pity him. Lol Carol, aptly named for that live stream, innit? Next, we have Critical. He went onto a stream once and then fucking died. But the thing is he had the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and do a video called The Moist Critical Situation is Crazy, and he did it. So he's redeemed in my books. For those that don't know, everyone was talking about the Ava Mr. Beast situation. Sneeko was recording him, but he knew he was being recorded, but Sneeko was recording him, and Charlie explained he didn't think it was a debate, but for whatever reason, he was interacting with Sneeko, and they got into the trans kid debate. No one's going to win in that debate because both sides are so opposed against each other. It's better to just shut up. And also, Sneeko and Charlie, like, why are they talking about this? Neither, I'm not going to listen to two blokes who are just YouTubers, right? Or streamers, whatever Sneeko is, I don't know. Two geezers who are just like average Joes. And even Critical said that. He said that I'm just a bloke that is average and I got lucky with my channel. So you wouldn't mind me saying that, I assume. I don't want to hear them going through the pros and cons of transgenderism in children and transitioning. Why would I listen to that? I would rather listen to medical professionals go through the pros and cons if I was so inclined. Why do people want to hear opinions about... That's a big issue I have with the internet. The amount of people who just want to hear opinions on like anything and everything from people whose opinions you shouldn't give a shit that much about in the first place because it's entertainment value, unless they are scientists or doctors or philosophers, not politicians, who cares about them? Politics degree, get a life, mate, nerd. It's like when the election times roll round and then people want to hear what their favourite influencers, and I don't mean influencers who maybe discuss politics sometimes. I voted Greens, by the way, you're welcome. Not that they won. But influencers like Emma Chamberlain, they'll start to want political opinions from her. And then people will say, oh yes, but you know, some of these people have big platforms and it's their responsibility to talk about politics. And it's like, but you only mean that because you think it's their responsibility to talk their audiences into swaying their opinion and voting the way that you want them to. Should you be allowed to vote if you're going to vote dependent upon what your favourite influencer votes? I don't think so. I'm so anti-democracy. I think we should take away voting rights from lots of people, actually. Those with lukewarm fridge IQs. The only person who should be allowed to vote is me. You're welcome.
I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm smarter.
And that's like, well, influencers should educate themselves. And in a perfect world, yes, I agree, because it's nice to be educated and learn stuff. Fun, innit? That's why I'm just perpetually doing A-levels forever. But it's not a perfect world. And I don't think some of these influencers care to know. I don't think you're going to change that. What am I even talking about? I'm just giving my volcanic takes. Can't wait to get cancelled. Critical should stop speaking, because Critical said something like, he's always up for talking to anyone and everyone. Fundamentally, I disagree. You're wasting brain cells when you talk to someone like Sneeko. Every time Sneeko speaks, a healthy brain cell dies. It's like getting a mini lobotomy all the time. It's just a waste of your time. Why would you want to waste your time? Especially, Charlie, you're like so rich. Like, go on vacation. I don't know, go visit the Himalayas. Do anything other than talk to someone like Sneeko. Oh, she's against free speech now too. Yes, I am. I'm against so many things. If I was Prime Minister, it would turn into a dictatorship real fast. But you know what? I would save this planet and I'd stop people from being stupid. So you're welcome. Jojo Siwa, she just keeps dancing. Why? And I know she can dance. I've seen TikToks where she does dance. What is this? Why? Watcher. Remember when that happened? Lol. Does anyone look at their channel now? Let me go look at their thingy-bobs. Nah, they've never regained the subscribers and their views are quite substantially decreased.
Too bad.
So, note to self, do not try to make new streaming service with no content. Cody Ko, I already did a fuller video into the Cody Ko Tana Mojo situation, but he's remained silent and he showed up to his Vegas DJ show. Yeah, I don't know either. And it made me laugh because he looked like an old man. Karma, I suppose. Okay, there was a whole situation that went down with a musician called Clinton Kane, who used to date Brooke Schofield from the Council podcast. Don't worry, we'll get to her in a bit. He lied about his family death. He lied about her Australian accent, and he built an entire career off of it and wrote these songs, which I don't understand them when they're like, oh my God, he's so talented. Like, what is it with those two? Championing mid-men. All this. Don't get it. Oh, don't put Zach Sang in here. Okay, briefly, Zach Sang, creepy, apparently. And that's all I'm going to say on that. Really endearing myself to everyone on this platform. I wondered why no one would ever come on my podcast when I had it. So he would actually say in interviews that this song was about losing my mother. When the truth was revealed that his mum is allegedly alive and well, Brooke did an episode on Cancelled, really going into it. The lies, the gaslighting, emotional manipulation, the whole thing. And Rolling Stone did an article about it where Clinton said, no, I didn't say that my mum had died. I said a mother-like figure close to me had died. And then Brooke did a TikTok series that went very viral last month. It was called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? About her relationship. And then he came out with a bunch of videos in response. And they were very, very pedantic. They were things like, you know, she said, oh, we were at this hotel and he'd spent like thousands of dollars. And then he was showing receipts showing that he'd spent like $600. Or she said that he got pulled over by the cops on the way to a restaurant and his ID showed that he had a different age. He spoke about this and he said, actually, it wasn't when we went to the restaurant, it was when we left the restaurant. So she's lying. And it's like, what? He also called his series Who Did I Date Not Marry, because he didn't get the reference and he's stupid and pedantic. So that was a whole interesting debacle. Then you had, this is just me giving my opinions out on all these people, like anyone's meant to care. Anyway, then you had Jason Nash, who, remember, once kissed Tana Mojo when she was like 18 in a dressing room. Again, I've spoken about this before. He's now panhandling live on TikTok, trying to get little kids to like spend their money on, I don't know what it's called on TikTok, like medals, stickers. That sounds really patronizing. Like he wants some stickers. Like, oh, well done, Jason Nash. But he's gone from being David Dobrik's best friend, waste his money, and now he's on TikTok live trying to get children to, you know, spend their parents' money on them. Tana made fun of it. And then Alyssa Violet came along and had a go at Tana. And she was so stupid. She said, let's not shame him for trying to do an honest job, which it's not an honest job. Could just get a normal job, but he thinks he's above that. And in the same breath, she then shamed Tana Mojo for having an OnlyFans. She's just a bit dumb. What can I say? And also defending Jason Nash for, like, what? Like, what's the, why? He's weird and creepy. Who cares? Again, why do all of these women bat so hard for such mediocre men? I could literally never. The only men I bat for is Keanu Reeves. Like, raise your standards. All of it. Anyway, Alyssa Violet just has bad vibes all round. Banksy. Banksy revealed his new artwork recently, and he's not even trying anymore. You could do that. I could do that. Anyone could do that. Fight me IRL, like influencer boxing style. Let me fight Banksy. Not impressed. Am I meant to be impressed? I'm not. Why did I think that was like a World War II siren going off? The only thing I'm scared of, which is quite ironic, seeing as how much I love Fallout, the only thing I worry about constantly is today's the day, nuclear war's going to start. It's the only thing I fucking think of. To the point that if someone looks at their phone and goes, oh my God, my heart immediately starts to go, this is it. This is what I saved up the bottle caps for. This is it. Because like, if I survived the blast, I think I would really thrive in the apocalypse. I really feel like it would be my scene. Okay. I'd finally be able to get out all of the unbridled aggression that I have to keep held in because polite society. But it's always like something so banal. Like, oh my God, this celebrity did this. And it's like, stop it. The amount of false starts I get, my blood pressure must be through the roof. Actually, speaking of that, you know what's funny? When I went on the plane the other day, I don't remember the last time I did a video. I went on a plane and I came back and it was okay. It was okay. Let me off, 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 let me off. When I was going out there on the plane, I went to Dublin, hung out with Angelina for a bit. Actually, it was very nice. My Fitbit was on. That night, I checked and I'd had like 70 elevated heart rate minutes on my Fitbit, and I was like, what the hell was that from? I've not done anything. I've not done any exercise. It was literally my heart rate before getting on the plane. That was just, it was like a workout. I burned extra calories that day from being scared. I'm not scared of anything, just, you know, the nuclear war. Scared of planes and nuclear war. That's it. Nothing else. Anyway, Neil Gaiman. Yeah, we're really just like going off topic here, but Neil Gaiman has been accused of sexual assault by so many women. Neil Gaiman, pretty sure he pretends to be liberal and progressive. Well, it has to be an act if he's been assaulting women. So it has to, can't be a feminist if you're... And unfortunately, it's not the first time a male feminist has used that title to get close to women, and then it's just all shit, isn't it, really? And finally, Brooke Schofield. This one happened really recently. She had a lot, and I mean a lot, of racist tweets that... I guess after her Clinton Kane series went viral and she was getting so many views and whatnot, I guess they started circulating and they reached a wider audience because of her popularity. All of these things are bad and racist, right? Stay with me for this one, please. But I feel there is a big difference in someone tweeting out song lyrics or rap lyrics or singing rap lyrics that have the M-wording, then someone tweeting in defense of George Zimmerman. I didn't know too much about it until I read into it. And a 17-year-old boy was just trying to eat some Skittles and then gets shot by a racist old man who got away with it because the jury found him innocent in Florida. I don't know the American legal system. Like, I can't speak on. I know it varies from state to state, but I've seen enough people say that it was bullshit that he got found innocent. That's my understanding. But this birthed the Black Lives Matter movement. And you would think if you killed a teenage boy who was just, their only crime was they were just trying to eat some Skittles, you'd think that maybe, because this is what proves that Zimmerman was a massive piece of shit. This to me is indisputable. You'd think maybe if you killed someone in a racist attack, you'd feel some remorse and guilt. He sold the murder weapon, and he sold autographs. Like, he autographed Skittle packets and sold them or sent them to his fans. Because yes, the guy has fans. Brooke has made a few apologies now, and there's a few things I want to discuss about it. Because look, I'm white, I'm English, I live in England. Not my place to be like, oh my God, I forgive you. Why the fuck would anyone listen to me? But the babying of her audience by white women, because I've been looking through those comment sections, is kind of such a side eye. Don't worry, Brookie, we love you and we forgive you. It's not. There was even one comment or someone who was being like, oh, I don't give a shit, I don't care about this, love you. I clicked on their TikTok profile and they were like living in California and they were a white woman. And it was just kind of like, who asked you? But it's just the reaction from so many people has been really interesting to just kind of observe. There's been no loss of followers or whatever on TikTok, which first of all was kind of surprising. And before, I've seen people use the phrase, oh, white women's tears. And of course, like, I've never really liked that, obviously. But this was one of those moments where, because in like the first apology, she was like kind of like trying not to cry or whatever. This was one of those moments where I was kind of like, oh, I get it. Oh yeah, I get it now. I'm never going to cry on the internet about anything. Cut to me in like 2 videos time sobbing over like, I don't know. Wasn't I crying over like eating some really nice food in one of my, doesn't matter. But the babying that's been going on by her audience, and then I saw a few other people have done like some videos about it, and the comment sections on there, again, like the babying of Brooke, and it's really interesting to me, and I don't really get it. I don't feel that I would get babied like that. Maybe because I am, the Phil Mitchell of YouTube. I've also seen lots of people use the defense of, well, she has borderline personality disorder, and I know someone who has borderline personality disorder, and I told them about it, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize defending a racist murder was a symptom of borderline. Didn't realize that. I don't think it's the defense these people think it is. And of course people can grow and change. But then don't forget, I've listened to the Cancelled podcast, and the story of her BPD is very inconsistent. And of course she thinks she's got ADHD and she thinks she's got this and that. And it's like, dude, you have the money, just go get formally diagnosed if you think that you have. Go for a formal diagnosis and find out. Same with the BPD. It's the same person who has like bragged about being a pathological liar and just lying on the internet for fun. So it's like, what am I meant to believe? Is it a boy who cried wolf situation? Or am I meant to believe you when you're really adamant because it kind of like helps you out? I think it'd be interesting to see where it goes from here. Because look, Tana Mojo could survive a nuclear blast, I'm pretty sure. But for all of her shortcomings, and she's had racist controversies as well, she has charisma that keeps people reeled in. And this is the part where I start to get very, very, very biased. I do not think Brooke has. But it's weird because she's so babied by her audience and her fan base. And yet, I've hinted about it when I've spoken about their podcast before. She has such subtle mean girl energy. She always has to put someone else down, always has to redirect the topic of conversation to her, and it will be a much less interesting redirect. And she doesn't interact with the guests. And then people somehow blame that on Tana or the guests rather than, her being the co-host on her own podcast where she should just speak more. She's 28. Why are people holding her hand? It's just the whole thing is kind of baffling to me. I don't think she's got the charisma to do it if it weren't for Tana Mojo in the first place, like continue to have an online career. And yet her audience don't care, like her white woman audience, let's be real, don't care about this, or like a good majority of them don't care, and they're going to stick by with her. I've just noticed on the podcast, she talks down to people. She diminishes other people's accomplishments all of the time. She has a very big issue with thinking that she's right about things and being so confident. She's like a living Dunning-Kruger effect. Oh, I've been noticing that more and more in people at the moment. I fucking hate it. She'll be so adamant that she's correct on something, and then she won't know what she's talking about. Like, she thought the Big Bang killed the dinosaurs. Said she went to nursing school but doesn't know what a pap smear is. Brilliant, real smart. It would just be interesting to see what transpires from this, I suppose. But as I said, it's one thing to be racist and dumb, but it's another thing to be racist and defend a teenage boy, a child, being killed. Anyway, that's all for today's video. That was just me complaining about things. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was just the topics that I've seen over the past several months and been like, I want to say something about that, and then not really bothering, so just where I've been sad. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I make new videos whenever I feel like it. Follow me on Instagram. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.